But after nearly a year shackled to the same tin desk in a room filled with them, his hopes for advancement had died, pounded flat by the incessant artillery barrage of booming drawers and typewriters thundering on metal stands. He suspected that on some subconscious level, he'd realized that consistency and reliability counted against change rather than for it, and had sabotaged himself deliberately. Shrink talk. Swallow 2 opiates with water and say 3 Hail Marys. The director had no use for either, and these days neither did he. Whatever the nature of the dereliction, it was beneath the attention of a man concerned with keeping fifth-column spies out of the War Department. But the director had been known to take interest in petty personnel matters. He'd fired a veteran inspector for reporting in from 16 hours of surveillance with his shirt tail hanging outside his vest. Vasco's own supervisor had forgotten to wear the regulation fedora in a press photo and forfeited his chance to head up the Detroit office. The morning dragged past on flat tires. He ate a sack lunch, an egg salad sandwich provided by ration stamps he'd been hoarding, but it might as well have been boiled pulp for all he tasted it. At 1:45 he walked up the aisle between rows of desks, a condemned man resigned to his fate. His colleagues discovered a sudden fascination with their little correction marks as he passed. They all knew about the envelope. For an organization dedicated to national security, it had practically coined the phrase. The Bureau was the whisperingest place outside the community rooms across America where mothers and daughters turned peach pits into weapons-grade cyanide. Stepping off the elevator on the 5th floor, he followed a beige hallway carpeted in navy, Justice Department colors, and lined with diversions. Inside brushed aluminum frames, Hoover shook hands with presidents and movie stars, squinted through a Tommy gun sight, and walked his cairn terrier, G-Boy, beside the Potomac. Arsenals bequeathed by various bandit gangs shared glass cases with heroic G-Man movie posters, pieces of exploded hand grenades, a replica of the Justice Building assembled from popsicle sticks, and bulletproof vests hemorrhaging steel wool out of vicious holes torn in the fabric. The Black Museum, senior agents called the display. A small library of books in shiny jackets arranged face out bore Hoover's name as either the author or the contributor of a foreword. Ghost-written every one, but doubtless the galley proofs had passed across his desk and then those of Vasco's superiors in records and communications, to eliminate heresies and stray commas. John Dillinger's morgue session had a case to itself, including bits of federal lead dug from his corpse, and the infamous shot of the bank robber's storied 12-inch erection skewing the line of the sheet covering him. The visitor searched in vain for the actual member preserved in a jar of alcohol. Another myth shattered. But at the Bureau there was no shortage of legends, even in wartime. They issued forth like bombers from an assembly line and took flight immediately. Despite all the sniping from inside and outside the hive, and perhaps partly because of it, Vasco's admiration for the director bordered on worship. Patton's men, it was said, smirked at the general's jodhpurs and pearl-handled pistols, but would follow him into hell. A 24-year-old U.S. attorney with little experience, Hoover had taken charge of a government agency created for the sole purpose of political patronage, turned out the rascals by guile and force, and within a few years transformed it into the most efficient police department in the world. Vasco was 14 when Hoover made international headlines by single-handedly arresting Alvin Karpis, public enemy number 1, after Karpis had boasted publicly that he would kill Hoover for the slaying of his outlaw friends, the Barkers, in Florida. A newspaper photo of the director leading the murderer-kidnapper in manacles into the federal building in St. Paul had gone up on the wall in Vasco's bedroom between Jesus and the Pope. He hesitated before the door to the reception room. He'd never met the man who'd hired him, had seen him in person only from a distance, presenting badges to graduates of the training course during the term.